On this day in history, May 23rd, 1430, Joan of Arc is captured at the Siege of Compiègne by troops from the Burgundian faction. Included in the following is an excerpt from the 1944 edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica going over the history of the town. Compiègne, a town of northern France, capital of an arrondissement, department of Oise, 52 miles north by northeast of Paris, famous for chateau, park, and forest. Population from 1936, 17,929. The town, which is a favorite summer resort, stands on the northwest border of the forest of Compiègne and on the left bank of the Oise, near its confluence with the Aisne. The river is crossed by a bridge built in the reign of Louis XV. Compiègne, or Compendium, seems originally to have been a hunting lodge of the early Frankish kings. It was enriched by Charles the Bald with 2 castles, and a Benedictine abbey dedicated to St. Corneille, the monks of which retained down to the 18th century the privilege of acting for 3 days as lords of Compiègne, with full judicial privileges. It was in Compiègne that King Louis I, the Dominaire, was deposed in 833, and at the siege of the town in 1430 Joan of Arc was taken prisoner by the English. A monument to her faces the Hôtel de Ville. The Treaty of Compiègne, between Richelieu and the Dutch, was signed there in 1624. In 1814, Compiègne offered a stubborn resistance to the Prussian troops. Under Napoleon III, it was the annual resort of the court during the hunting season. From 1870 to 1871, it was one of the headquarters of the German army. The town was occupied by the Germans in 1914 and was bombarded in 1918. The armistice of November 11, 1918 was signed there in a dining car. During World War II, the Germans again occupied the town in June 1940. The Franco-German armistice of June 22, 1940 was signed in the same dining car at Compiègne. Later, the Germans moved the car to Berlin. The Hôtel de Ville, with a graceful facade surmounted by a lofty belfry, is late Gothic, early 16th century. Of the churches, St. Antoine, 13th century and 16th century, has some fine Renaissance stained glass, and St. Jacques dates from the 13th and 15th centuries. There are remains of the ancient abbey of St. Corneille. Compiègne, from a very early period until 1870, was the occasional residence of the French kings. Its magnificent palace, chateau, now an art museum, was erected chiefly by Louis XV and restored by Napoleon I. It has 2 facades, one overlooking the town, the other facing a fine park and a forest, 55 square miles. Compiègne is the seat of a sub-prefect, and has tribunals of first instance and of commerce. Industries are boat building, rope making, cooperage, and copper and iron founding. Asparagus is cultivated in the environs. There is river-borne trade in timber and coal. Telephone, accessories, parachutes, etc. are manufactured.